welcome to a very special edition of Drive Home Reviews. So first of all, as you can see, we are coming to you from beautiful Cherokee, Idaho. So we are on location. Iowa. Iowa. Where the corn is from, I'm sorry.
Corn, not potatoes.
Corn, not potatoes.
Idaho is potatoes.
Okay, all right. Good call. You're right.
Yeah.
As you also can see, I'm not driving this time, so a rarity in Drive Home Reviews. But most importantly, I am joined by a very special guest here today. Some of you may have heard me refer to the girlfriend in past reviews. And here she is, the beautiful Rebecca, who is not only gorgeous to look at and just a wonderful person, but has a wonderful critical mind. She doesn't think so. You can look at the face. Look at the face she's giving me right now. She's like, but she is one of the many reasons I fell in love with her is we have the best conversations about movies and TV shows and whatnot. And if there's anybody that I want to debate movies with, it's
because we very rarely agree on that.
We very rarely agree, and especially about comedies. Comedies we suck at, as well as which boyfriend was better for Rory.
Jess, 100,000%.
Team Dean, baby, Jess. Team Dean. But that's not what we're here to talk about. That's not. That's a whole other video. No, we're here to talk about this film, which we just saw
on Hulu.
On Hulu. So she got me into she provides the streaming. I don't physical media all the way. What the hell's the name of this thing?
It's the Happiest Season.
Happiest Season. You know, one of the main complaints I have about this film is it needs a better title.
I like the title. I don't think that a title necessarily has to go completely along with the movie.
It's not that it doesn't go completely along with the movie, it's that it's not memorable. The fact that I've had to ask myself and look up 5 times like what the name of the movie is not a good sign. But here's the thing.
Happiest Season.
Okay. She's got it right there.
Yeah.
Nope. It's glowing. Oh, okay.
Okay. Point for physical media.
Point for physical media.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about this movie. So first, if you have not heard of this film, which wouldn't surprise me if you haven't. It's very hard to hear films these days. So Kristen Stewart and what's the
Mackenzie Davis.
Mackenzie Davis are a lesbian couple, and Mackenzie Davis invites Kristen Stewart home to meet her family over Christmas, but drops the bomb as they're on the way there that her family doesn't know she's out, or doesn't know she's gay, doesn't know she has a girlfriend, and it's basically the plot of The Birdcage, but without the drag queens.
No drag queens.
It had drag queens, but they were not like prominently featured. Drag queening was not like a heavy plot element. So, and of course, her parents and family are very, what's the word here? Proper. Very
East Coast, New England, plaid, throw pillows, kind of proper.
Yeah, so of course, bringing the gay element into that is going to be a huge thing. Her father is running for mayor.
Right.
And, hilarity ensues. General plot. Gut thoughts. What'd you think?
I loved this movie completely, and for a couple of reasons. Like, one of the reasons is, so the trailer made it look a little bit more stereotypical and cheesy.
It really did. The trailer made it look very best friend's wedding.
Right, and like Dan Levy is in it, and in the trailer he seems like the guy who's like, I'm gay, but I'm pretending to be straight, so I'm going to talk about how much I love vaginas, But yet that's not in the movie at all.
No.
His character is actually really like well-rounded and sentimental.
I want to come back to his character.
Okay.
Because I got some things to say about his character.
But the thing I loved about the movie is that even though it's got some sentimentality and it's got some funny parts and it is a holiday movie, it just felt very real. Like none of it felt over the top or like it wouldn't actually happen. Every aspect of this felt like it could have actually happened at a family gathering.
I will agree with that. I will disagree a little bit. I felt some elements were a little over the top, but not in a any sense that they felt like they were out of place or that they stood out. The world felt, like I say, it felt very real and very consistent. You know, like sometimes, so Mackenzie Davis has two sisters. She has
Sloane, the older sister.
Sloane was the older sister, and Jane, the youngest sister. And
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think Jane's the youngest. And Jane is like just out there.
I would almost wonder if she was on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like, she's very exuberant and over the top, but in such a good way. Like,
yeah, it's
she was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
I will agree with that. I really, like I think she was over the top, but not in any way that ruined the picture.
It wasn't abrasive.
It wasn't. She didn't feel like she just strode in from another movie.
No, she fit into, like, she didn't fit in. She didn't fit. She was definitely the odd duck out. Yeah. But she fit into that world.
Yeah. So I felt parts that were over the top, but overall, again, it was cohesive, and I think that's the big thing.
Right.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I was just going to say, I felt like the plot, like I said, I felt like the plot was not reaching. I didn't feel like it shamed Harper for not being out of the closet. Like, I felt like there were times when, as an audience member, you are, like, disappointed in her.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
upset with her. But it didn't, like, it even has this beautiful scene talking about, like, how, like, you can't do it for anybody else. Everybody, when you come out of the closet, has to be completely your own thing. Which is, I think, if I had to boil down the movie, the process of coming out probably would be its main
that's
theme.
Definitely its biggest theme, yeah. Since we're on that, and I know you want to talk, so I'm not as familiar with Danielle Levy as most people. She is just now introducing me to Schitt's Creek.
It's one of my favorite shows.
Just because that's really, I think that's most people's experience with him as an actor. And on that show, I find him funny. I find him a little. I don't dislike him as an actor, but it was like, okay, he's doing a shtick. I get it. And it looked like, again, from the trailers, it felt like this film he was going to do do his shtick. And you're like, okay, he's going to be the better than everybody, gay friend who, is, and that's where they lead you to. But I gotta say, he won a lot of respect from me as an actor. Because he does have that really great speech.
He does.
That you were talking about you can't judge someone else's coming out experience by yours.
Right.
And you can't always expect everyone to everyone's circumstances to be the same as yours, and it's a really good speech, and he really nails it.
Right.
So I'm watching that going, all right, that's some great acting there. Really, mad respect.
Well, speaking of the speech, so this movie was written and directed by Clea Duvall. And I didn't realize she had written a couple of other things too. I just knew her as an actress. I think the first time I really remember seeing her in anything was the movie But I'm a Cheerleader, which is another actually story about lesbians. But
from the 90s, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the late 90s. And so that's really like where I was first introduced to her. And of course on Buffy. She was on Buffy as one of the she was a character on Buffy. It doesn't matter which one she was. I didn't realize she was an actress, and then like when I had seen the trailer for this, I went and was like, what was the story behind her writing it? And she said in her experience she was writing, and she was going to, in a different movie, was going to write herself a boyfriend, her character a boyfriend in the screenplay, and then she's like, why am I doing that? That's not accurate to who I am as a person. And so then she started writing this about because there isn't and I am an avid fan of Christmas movies, and so I can tell you straight up there's not a lot of LGBTQ representation in Christmas movies at all, and so she decided to write one.
And I think that's along with the representation, which is important. I think one of the great things is that this is so original.
It is.
Especially from a Christmas movie standpoint. Mm-hmm. And a lot of things about this movie don't follow the kind of cookie cutter mold. Obviously the plot for a Christmas movie. It does not use kind of the same hits tape soundtrack. The Christmas songs in there are ones I've never heard before. So
I'd heard them, but they have a great scene in a drag club with two of my favorite drag queens. Jinx Monsoon and Ben de la Creme are in this, which my oldest daughter is gonna flip out. They're some of our favorite. We're big Drag Race fanatics, but they were singing Must Be Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that song. It was such a great little scene.
Yeah. So I think just right off the bat, but things can be original and still not be good.
Right, yeah.
And
True.
I think that's just because an idea is original, or just because a certain genre hasn't touched on a certain concept, that doesn't mean that the first time we do it, that makes it good. People seem to think that, but it's not true. So to make it good, what you need is a really good script, which it has.
It does.
I really love the blending of comedy and drama, which is not easy to do. Sometimes it veers a little into
melodrama.
Not so much melodrama, yes, but in terms of the comedy, it veers a little into really broad comedy in certain parts. And that's a little out of place, but not enough to take me out of it or make me not enjoy it.
Right.
And I think you need good actors to pull it off.
Mary Steenburgen and Victor Garber as the parents.
Both of them brilliant actors.
Right.
If I have a qualm about this movie, and it's a small qualm, but
petit qualm.
A petit qualm.
A petit qualm.
It's that the two of them, the parents, part of the story is that they have been the parents have been so concerned, overbearing with, appearance, that obviously it's what makes the Harper character afraid to come out.
Right.
And as we find out, it's also why her sisters are afraid to kind of reveal their own various secrets or issues, because they're always afraid of them, they're going to lose love. And you need that element in there for the story.
Right.
And because it makes the ending all the more satisfying.
True.
But if I have a qualm, it's that I would have liked just a little hint that maybe these two people were not the judgmental devils that you're kind of framing them as.
Okay.
You know, again, it doesn't need to be a big thing.
I think that Mary Steenburgen does, like, that her character does redeem herself.
I think they both do.
Yeah. Like, I think...
They both definitely redeem themselves.
But I do think that part of it is, you know, he's in the middle of a political campaign. It's Christmas, which especially a parent can tell you that, yes, Christmas is wonderful. I love Christmas more than anybody, but it is stressful as a parent, especially if you are trying to keep up appearances for any particular reason. So I think that was it. And I mean, really, she did welcome in Abby with, like, open arms. One of the running jokes was about Abby being an orphan, and she lost her parents when she was 19, but they kept asking her questions like did you have Christmas at the orphanage?
They treat her about being an orphan the same way people treat me when I say I'm from Alaska. You know, like the way they introduced her. The guy who was the chair of my theater department when I was in grad school, the way he would introduce me to people was, and this is Brandon, he's from Alaska. Not that I was a third-year directing student, not that I had just directed this show or that show, and this is Brandon, he's from, that was the beginning and end of my, so I was laughing at that because I was like, I know, and yeah, you know, is it cold? Do you know Sarah Palin? Can you see Russia from your backyard?
Yeah, it was constantly, this is Abby, she's an orphan.
Yeah.
Aubrey Plaza, her character, Riley, in this was pretty good too.
Oh yeah, Harper's first girlfriend.
Which, I mean, I'm used to Aubrey Plaza being a very specific type of character in a movie, like April from Parks and Rec. She played an assassin on Criminal Minds, and so, like, you're used to her being a very specific type of character, and she's playing it very understatedly in this. I think very kind of subtly. I think it was a good move for her.
And I think we gotta give some praise to Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
Who for years has been one of the most abused actors in Hollywood, because she did some bad movies a few years ago. Some bad movies that made her a lot of money. And don't act like none of you wouldn't have done the exact same thing if offered the exact same amount of dough. All right? So don't pretend. Especially when you're a young actor trying to make a name for yourself, someone offers you a role in a long-running popular series, and you're going to get name recognition and you know, a big multi-film paycheck out of it. Yeah, who's going to turn that down? You know, I will say that she's still a little robotic at times, just in her delivery. But that's in the delivery. The acting is still good.
Right. I really do find I feel like she is a very naturalistic actor. Sorry, my fancy Prius keeps sliding the camera down the dashboard. I find her to be a very naturalistic actor, and I think with that, sometimes you just are.
Yeah.
Like, you just are a little robotic sometimes.
Yeah. But she's worked really hard to kind of
come out of that mold.
Yeah, to get out of that Bella stereotype and really do. And so a lot of respect for her, one, on doing that. And two, I think she's really come a long way. I really do.
So one thing I know that we kind of disagree about, because we talked about it during the movie, I kind of like the way they did the exposition, and that it just came up in conversation. Like, they don't necessarily just tell you everything up front. They're like, it just comes out a little bit at a time. But you found it to be clunky.
I found a lot of the information dumps, and they're not dumps, they're just kind of lines here and there. But I did feel like they came out of nowhere. It's what we call French-made exposition. No, it's true. It's an actual term.
I know, but...
You know, where it's like, so like, Kristen Stewart and Daniel Levy are at breakfast, and they're talking. He's like, well, I'm a book publisher. And it's like...
He doesn't say it like that.
And it's like, well, she would know that. Why are you saying that?
But he didn't say it like that. He was like mentioning it because she was worried about all of the pets that she's house sitting. And he says, I take care of this many authors. I am sure that I can handle your pets.
Still, very...
I liked it.
Very clunky. Okay. All right, so here's a question for you.
Okay.
All right. So, was there anything in the movie that you felt didn't work?
I was not sold on Anna Gasteyer as this white whale political funder who was supposed to be like that the dad was trying to like get funding for his political campaign from. Like I felt like they either didn't do enough with her or she was extraneous, or not extraneous, but like she was not necessary. Like they could have done it without her even being in the not the play. What was this?
In the film.
Movie. She didn't even really need to be in the film at all. It could have been a sideline character the whole time. I don't know that she added anything to it.
The fact that I had to think about who you were talking about when you said that actually proves your point. I was like, wait, who? Oh, yeah, that was the whole... The only reason she's in there is to be the catalyst for the dad's face turn at the end. But yeah, you're right. I think I would agree with that.
Honestly, I felt like even the minor characters worked for me. Like the Connor as the ex-boyfriend, like I said, Aubrey Plaza. Even like the mall cops. With there's a little incident with some mall cops, and one of the things I loved about that is that Lauren Lapkus was one of the mall cops, and she did improv with the group Wild Horses with Mary Holland, who played Jane the sister. So Jane the sister, Mary Holland, is one of totally my favorite part of the movie. She used to be United Citizens Brigade, and then she was in Wild Horses with Lauren Lapkus and Stephanie Allen, and I can't remember who else. But
see, this is why it's good to have her around, because when I see a movie, I know like maybe 3 people's names, and the rest it's like this guy who I don't remember. So.
No, but like I loved it, and there was the tour guide who was talking about all of the tragedies that happened with
at the very beginning, yeah.
That's Michelle Buteau, who is a comedian. Like, so there was all these little, like, just cameo almost kind of people sprinkled in there. And I enjoy that. But yeah, I felt like the casting was really right on. Alison Brie as Sloane, the older sister, was so good. Oh, she was so insufferable.
She was.
Oh, she and her husband make these gift baskets, and she Abby goes, so you make gift baskets? And she said, no, I make gift experiences carefully curated in special customized wooden specimen.
Yes.
Vessels. Wooden vessels.
Pure yuppie,
Oh my gosh. Gwynny thinks that were great.
I gotta say, going back, one of the things I was disappointed we were talking about. So they do this like white elephant gift exchange. It's supposed to be this big yuppie thing, and Jane, the sister, comes in with this huge picture. You know it's a picture.
It's a painting.
And the whole film, she's talking about this book she's writing, supposed to be some Hunger Games, Game of Thrones,
very sci-fi,
very world building. She's describing this bizarre world. So you're like, that painting has got to be something awful. And I was waiting. I was like, I can't wait. And they open it, and it's this gorgeous painting.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
And I was mad because I was like, man, I was waiting for something really fucked up. I was mad actually, because you're like, that's beautiful. That's gorgeous. I wouldn't be embarrassed to get that painting at all. And that was really weird that the woman who got me was like, what is it? It's like, it's a gorgeous painting. What does it look like? fuck? Yeah, so, but yeah, I can't find a lot or, like, anything I have to complain about this picture. It's all minor. It's all very little stuff. I would have liked, like, it looked like they were going for it there for a second, and then they didn't. I would have liked a scene with Victor Garber and Kristen Stewart.
Right.
Because it looked like they were going to have one, because she mentioned she's studying to get a PhD in art. He mentions this whole time going to Paris and studying. And I was like, okay, at some point they're going to have a little scene, and, you know.
I think that there's little minor connections that they make.
There are, but I would have liked just for his face turn there towards the end, so that he's not such an insufferable, you know.
Well, the thing is his personality, besides the campaign thing, his personality didn't seem insufferable. And a lot of what you get about the kids feeling like they have to vie for his attention, for the most part, it seems like it was in their childhood. Although they do do some things that you feel like,
yeah, I mean, so again, just a little humanizing scene, I guess, is what I would have liked for him. But he does have, I guess that you could argue that the humanizing scene at the end makes up for it.
Right.
You know, I don't know, I guess.
Well, and in truth, I felt like it was such a good length. Like, I felt like it wasn't too short.
Yeah.
Where I felt like I didn't have enough, but it wasn't so long that I was like, when is this gonna end?
Yeah, I agree. It didn't drag.
Right.
It didn't drag, except for the drag queens. They dragged.
They dragged
they
very
didn't
well.
drag. They dragged.
They dragged awesomely.
Yeah, they were good drags.
Well, I mean, they are Jinx Monsoon and Ben One Crown.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't have a frame of reference for that, but I will take your expertise on this one. Any closing thoughts? Any other things you want to bring up about this one before we wrap it up with final grades?
You know, I think that it was touching and funny, and it really made you stop and think for a second. I think that it is a family Christmas movie in that it's about these relationships that family members have with each other and their relationships and their interactions, but it's done in a totally different way, and it's representing a population that does not get nearly enough mainstream screen time. I know that this was meant to be a theater release, but because of the pandemic, Clea DuVall signed the streaming agreement with Hulu, and I think that's great. It was like the first thing that popped up when we opened up Hulu.
Yeah, it was.
Sorry, not COVID, I promise. But I think that it will reach a more mainstream audience this way than would have gone to see it in the theater.
Right.
And I really, honestly, I think it's a great holiday edition. I will definitely watch it again.
Okay. So, final grade from you. We're both teachers. So, final grade for you for Happiest season.
I know this will be very, very shocking for you to give a Christmas movie a grade, but definitely an A for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just a solid A or an A plus or an A minus?
I would say by the amount of tears that I shed part of the way through the movie, I'd say it's probably got to be an A plus.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So A plus from Becca. I'm going solid A.
Okay.
On this one. I'm going solid A on this one. I felt like it was very original. I felt like, and like I say, it is a family Christmas movie, but as we redefine kind of what a family is or what the definition of a family can be, I think it is a film that does that. I don't feel like it gets up on a soapbox and slaps you in the face with it. I think it's, it's genuine with its message, but not overbearing with it. And going back to the concept of representation, I feel, and this is coming from, white heterosexual man territory here, that not only is it representation, but it is what feels to me like genuine representation. When we see gay characters, it's very often very stereotypical.
Right, yeah.
You know, what we kind of assume gay characters, or it's kind of like watching Disney Channel or Nickelodeon. Look, here's what 40-year-old men think the teenagers talk like. You know, and it's a lot of, you know,
I think that being written by a lesbian probably helped.
Exactly. That's
Not a single one of them tried to chop any wood.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not just representation, but I think it is more honest representation than you commonly see. I do think it's an excellent film. I don't think it's just an excellent Christmas film. I think it's an excellent film, and I'm glad you suggested it, and I'm glad that you brought this into our holiday viewing. So I highly recommend this one. Check it out just if for no other reason than to vary up your Christmas viewing.
Mm-hmm. Everybody needs a little drag queen in there.
Yeah, Wonderful Life is a wonderful film, but we can mix it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Heartfelt, not sappy, and yeah, just genuinely just a good movie. So a solid A for me.
All right.
Wow. A little. Here's the only thing I'm a little disappointed in as I readjust this for the last time, is that you haven't really heard us arguing about movies, and we get again with comedy and Rory's boyfriends. It's there's arguments here. This is where the arguments come in. And we didn't argue. We agreed on this one. So you really didn't get to see the fun fireworks. So maybe next time.
We'll have to watch something a little more controversial.
We'll have to
more controversial than the lesbian Christmas movie.
Yes. We'll have to do an editorial of Rory's boyfriends.
I don't know. If you want to stay in this relationship, that might not be a great idea.
Good point. So I want to thank my lovely lady.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
My person.
My person.
Mm-hmm. You getting sick of us yet? The only other question I have is that if you're reviewing this, I wonder who's going to watch it.
Oh, there's other people who watch the reviews.
Hi, Mom. But I thank Rebecca very much for joining us. We might do another one of these depending on how things shake out. But as always, have a happy holiday season and drive safe. And I will see you at the movies.